Good morning, good evening. It's another beautiful day in paradise. Ian and Nick here. We are back with another project interview. We have Tomer from Kima, a hot new project that, full disclosure, we actually invested a little bit into. We're very excited to have him on, excited to learn more. So let's dive right in. Tomer, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your journey into crypto.
Okay, so first of all, thanks for having me today, guys. Let's have fun. My name is Tomer, 25 years in digital marketing, 5 times as an entrepreneur, 3 times lost everything I had in my life, started from scratch twice. Actually was on the street with 4 dogs, and a friend of mine just came over, gave me $3,000 so I can rent a place to to sleep that night. Um, True story. Started twice all over again, learned how to choose right partners in life and had 2 successful exits. Became an angel investor myself. That was 12 years ago. Been investing ever since. Never stopped through bear, bulls, whatever's. I've been through all of them and was still active in all of them. Since 2016, 17, highly active in the ICO boom. Then 2019, decided exclusively investing only in crypto and blockchain innovations. To date, I have a few dozens of portfolio companies. I'm writing for Forbes and Cointelegraph about DeFi and blockchain infrastructure. Strategic advisor to a few, and my personal baby is Kima. Started as an investment of mine, fell in love with the project. My mind was completely blown by the change, and was lucky enough to get from the founders an opportunity to join as a late founder and become a CMO of this amazing thing. And here I am today.
That's awesome. I mean,
Awesome.
Ian, me and you always talk about wanting resilience out of founders and out of teams, and it looks like he's had resilience not only within crypto, been here since 2016, 17, which means you've been through bulls and bears, but also resilience in the pre-Web3 phase and falling flat on your face a few times and getting back up. And really, that is the nature of entrepreneurship always. You're not going to win in everything you do. You just got to be able to pivot and find the next opportunity. So, Ian, if you want to keep going with the interview, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I remember. So, by the way, I love that intro. That reminded me why we actually invested. That was the whole thing, right? Like, I just love that story. And obviously, we dug into the project and we'll get into that as well. But that was, I remember you told me that on our first call, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's a winner. I want to be associated with this guy. I want to be on the train where this guy's going. So awesome story, man.
Thank
Super
you.
cool. Very crypto paradise too, by the way. So let's dig in to Kima a little bit. High level. What problem is it trying to solve? Tell us a little bit about the tech, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so we'll go simply for above. And again, thank you guys for the kind words. I mean, they say success is like pregnancy, like everybody are congratulating you when it happens. No one knows how many times you've been fucked until it happened. so,
It's a good one.
thank you for the kind words. And yeah, as long as we're now standing here, it's good. About Kima's technology, I'm pardon my French, of course. Um, so Kima is basically an interoperability communication layer. We are solving interoperability issues by creating a network that has only validator nodes on it. There's no smart contracts on it. There's no liquidity on it. There's no users on it. A network that manages assets on all other networks, and by that provides communication cubes between all financial ecosystems with no smart contract. About the magic, without getting too technical into the details, today when we want to transfer assets from one side to another, from Solana to Ethereum, we will be using bridges that will be smart contracts or oracles. Both of them are softwares. Now, sending 100 USDC to Solana smart contract, 100 USDC arrived, and the smart contract initiates a smart contract transaction on the Ethereum side. After it is confirmed, receiving $100. Ethereum side sends $100, 100 USDC to the target. Smart contracts, sometimes an oracle between them that tells them what is going on. All of them are software. Software written by men can easily, sometimes not that easily, be hacked by another man, or a lady, of course, by a woman. Can also happen. But the thing is that all software eventually will have bugs and will have all kinds of loopholes and exploits that can be used. That makes bridges very easy target to be hacked. If I'm finding a way to trick the bridge that I sent $100, although I did not, but he thinks that I did, and keeps confirming to send $100 on this side, I'm draining the bridge out of the funds on this side. As we all know, many stories of these are happening all the time. So many that most of the news channels just stopped writing about this. The crypto media outlets just stopped writing about it because it happens all the time. So Kima is solving the problem in a very simple, unique, and complex manner, but very easy to understand. So I'd like to explain that bridges are working from above one point to another. Kima network works from below. It's a layer that connects all blockchains, no matter what they are now and in the future, completely agnostic way to the technology and the digital asset that we're managing, to each other through a relay that sits on every blockchain. Kima is building a Kima relay on every blockchain now and in the future in order to connect them all together. You can see it as an Ethernet cable and connecting the Ethernet cable to a socket that connects you to the internet. That's the purpose of the Kima relay. That's where all the smart contracts on a blockchain connects to any other blockchain on any centralized financial ecosystem, which we'll get to in a second. So I'm going to send the same $100. Sending 100 USDC from Solana now to Ethereum. 100 USDC arrived to the smart contract. The smart contract does not do anything but sending a message through the Kima relay. It's a message, like a letter, with a stamp, a Kima token. The letter has a message. I received 100 USDC, send 100 USDC to that address on Ethereum. Something magical happens now. As I said, Kima network has no assets, has no users, has only validator nodes. At this moment, 2/3 of the validator nodes need to physically go and verify that 100 USDC have arrived to the smart contract on Solana. They need to physically see that it happened and that the money is there. Once they confirm that it is indeed there, they see it. Once they see it, each of them moves on to a magic trick that reveals a shard of the MPC vault seed phrase and private key stored on the CPU core, forming all of them the keys to the MPC vault, going to Ethereum. The blockchain itself does it, going to Ethereum, releasing 100 USDC from the Ethereum network to the address, from the Ethereum MPC vault on the Ethereum network to the address that needs to get the money. So all of this magic trick happened in the speed of light. We're doing no computation. We don't have any smart contract. We're not resolving anything. It's only a message. A message basically is unhackable. You cannot steal something that doesn't exist. I'm not sending any asset. Second, the network needs to physically see that the money is there, 2/3 of the validator nodes. You cannot theoretically trick all of them to see a transaction that is not there and never happened, 2/3 of them. Third magic trick, theoretically also unhackable, is storing a shard on the CPU core using Intel's technology called TEE. We're storing a shard on the CPU core, then decrypting the shard. The network decrypts it, rebuilds, restructures the keys, goes to the MPC vault, sends the money. Theoretically unhackable. All of that happened at the speed of light, exactly as we're having this video call. Happens, you don't even feel it because there's no computation to resolve. The only latency happened on the Solana side to finish this thing, and on Ethereum side to finish this thing, the smart contracts. Kima worked at the speed of light. The users do not even know that they're using Kima, exactly as we do not know on a website that is being protected by Cloudflare, exactly as we do not know that we're using Cisco infrastructure to have this video call or our audio calls over online. Exactly as we do not know that we're using the company that owns the fiber optics that run under the ocean and connect continents with the internet connection. We just know the ISP, the internet service provider. Same thing happens with Kima. Every time that a message like this goes through the network, we're using a stamp, a tiny Kima token that goes through the network to pay for sending the message. The Kima network, in a completely decentralized manner, does the actions and resolves all of this magic. That makes it completely, that magic trick makes us completely agnostic to technology and to the digital assets that you're transferring. It can be RWAs, it can be security tokens, it can be whatever's. It can be everything that you want to transfer on the network. Because we do not have smart contracts, we're also the only decentralized communication protocol on Earth that has an API and an SDK, which means every centralized entity, every bank, every financial app that you're using, every stock trading app that you're using, is able to connect to Kima network, through the Kima network to your wallet on every blockchain, theoretically, through an API and an SDK. Think how crazy that is. So you can be on Robinhood app, connect to your Solana app, and decide to your Solana wallet, and decide to liquidate bank tokens and purchase Tesla stocks. You can go to your bank and decide to send your friend $10,000 from your Ethereum from your ETH on Ethereum that will be liquidated to the bank, and sending $10,000 fiat normal to a bank account through your banks. That's what we do, and that's how it operates in simple manners.
Yeah, so that kind of leads me to my thought. You said people can use it without knowing they're using it. So you're not really a product that you're trying to get user acquisition, but it sounds like more the low-hanging fruit for you would be making partnerships with infrastructure plays already existing in crypto, maybe centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges. I heard you mention Robinhood, to then integrate your technology into their platform so their users can utilize your protocol, and in that terms utilizes the Kima token. Am I kind of correct in that assumption? And if I am, how are you in the process of creating these types of partnerships, as really that's what you guys are relying on?
Great question. And yes, you assumed correctly. So basically, Kima has no network, no users, but basically everybody is our user. Once a DApp connects to Kima to some kind of interoperability needs, whatever they need, it can be Solana to Polygon, Bitcoin to Ethereum. Imagine that you want to stake BTC. Use your BTC on Bitcoin network to stake ETH on Eigenlayer, right? Through Kima, you can do this magic trick easily. So these are things that you will be doing with Kima, and all of the users who will use these dApps are now becoming Kima's users. Imagine that we're like winning over all of the users that a certain dApp has just by that dApp integrated into Kima, because all of the users become Kima's users instantly. And the beauty is they do not even know that they're our users, right? So that's basically how Kima operates, how we are adding users to the Kima network without them needing to know that we exist, without them needing to migrate, without developers needing to migrate their contracts from one place to another. The beauty is that the dApp stays exactly where they are. Your dApp stays on Solana, it stays on Polygon, it stays on Avalanche, it stays on wherever you want. It stays there. Your users will be doing whatever they need on the other side, and then just the transaction returns to you. All of that magic happened without you needing to move TVL, without you needing to create a new smart contract, without you needing to migrate, without you needing to lose your users. Everything happens through the Kima network, and all of these users are our users. That's how we are operating. Now, excuse me, but remind me also regarding the question that you had before that.
So what
You also had a question.
So if that's the case, and I was right, is what it sounds like.
About the partnerships.
How are you on track with these partnerships, or how do you win over some of these dApps? Do you already have dApps on board? Do you have connections at bigger dApps that you'll figure out once the Kima token is launched here pretty soon? We'll talk about the token after this question as well. I'm sure Ian has plenty of questions. But how are you on that track?
So at the moment, we are kind of overwhelmed. Seriously, we're overwhelmed by requests to connect to the Kima network. If you're a Go developer, by the way, Cosmos SDK developer, please contact us. We're hiring. Seriously. And we are overwhelmed by requests. So many dApps are at the moment are onboarding Kima of all sorts. It's developers who are creating this magic from BTC to Eigenlayer. It's MasterCard, which some of our backers using FinTech Innovation Labs by MasterCard. We invested in Kima, and at the moment running also Kima validator nodes on our testnet. Monabit that already provides their credit cards, their MasterCard credit cards in Latin America, and are utilizing Kima's network to do the magic of crypto direct payments and as crypto payment rails for its cards. We're already in conversations with banks for a very long time and with some very interesting players in the communications realms, huge companies that you all know and use daily for various uses of Kima. dApps of all sorts are being built on Kima. It can be super swaps that are being created at the moment, which are basically swaps cross-chain without bridging anything and moving assets. You can basically use whatever asset you want and transform it to whatever asset you want easily and with minimal fees to none. And yeah, the list is long. So to answer quickly, I think that at the moment we have about 50 partners that at the moment are building all sorts of solutions through Kima's communication protocol. And the magic thing is they do not go anywhere. They stay exactly where they are at the moment. They're just using us to connect to whatever they want, do whatever they want there, and bring their users right back to stay on their dApps.
That's awesome. Love to hear about the traction as well. I want to take a step back, provide a little bit of context for some of our viewers who may be wondering, okay, well, why should I care? What does all that mean? You know, why is that relevant for me? So if you've been following the show, you probably picked up on the fact that we've paid a lot of close attention to narratives. What's the narrative of the project? What's the sector that they're building in? And is that a hyped up narrative? Is that a meaningful narrative in a cycle? And further, if you've been following the show, you probably know that we've been talking about interoperability, cross-chain, that infrastructure within that sector as one of the next hot narratives that we think is coming. Why is that? Why do we believe that to be the case? Well, this is a fundamental problem within the blockchain sector just as a whole, right? You have all these different chains, liquidity fractures across all these different ecosystems. And we need to figure out as an industry how to sort of make the whole thing connected. We have to connect the crypto industry together, these blockchains together. And whether it's through Kima or another provider, you guys are doing it, it sounds like in a very innovative way with a sort of underlying messaging layer. I've not heard exactly this kind of solution before, but it sounds very promising. The fact that you have traction, right? Team has a lot of experience, and we'll get into token utility in a second. But I just want to provide a little bit of context. I just felt like, you know, this could be one of the next big narratives in this cycle's interoperability. I think you laid out the problem with the bridges very succinctly. So to me, this Kima could be a big winner in this sector, and we'll obviously see. A lot still has to go right for that. But very promising, very, very cool technology, as I understand it. So keep up the great work there.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're, by the way, we agree 100%. Now, putting my tiny investor hat on my head, my tiny angel investor hat on my head, I completely agree with you, you know, about the narrative, you know, and the need for interoperability. At the moment, guys, imagine like how we're using like Web3. Web3, you know, crypto blockchain basically is used for making money, swapping tokens, swapping NFT to money, swapping money to NFTs, swapping something to money, money to something. But the overall concept of Web3 is digital ownership and decentralization of data. Now, this is mind-blowing, guys. You know, this is going to change the internet. This is like reinventing the internet all over again. Remember the first time that you understood that what you have, like the number that you have in your wallet is real money? I remember that day that I saw the number and suddenly I felt that this is a real asset that I'm holding. Until then, it was just files on my computer, right? So the reason that it's not exploding is because this industry does not work together. There is no motive for the industry to work together, right? By default, each blockchain that is born, each layer 1 and layer 2 is destined to try and kill the other, to fight on users, on liquidity, on transaction volume, in order to pump their own gas tokens. So by default, we're destined to kill each other all the time. Now, interoperability just makes all of it completely irrelevant. Builders can build whatever they want, wherever they want. They can tap into liquidity sources wherever they want without being forced to move all of the users and all of the assets all over again from place to place for a grant or to get access to a certain feature. No need, nothing. Think how crazy that is, guys. This is like completely changing how we're using this amazing thing called blockchain today. Imagine a world where if your website is stored on Google Cloud and another website is stored on Microsoft Azure, they cannot communicate with each other. And if they're on Amazon AWS, they cannot communicate with the other two. It's completely crazy. The only way to communicate with an app being on Google Cloud and an app on Amazon AWS would be to take the app from Amazon AWS, transform it to Google Cloud, take it back from Google Cloud, and put it back on Amazon AWS. Completely crazy, right? The internet will not be usable. Then I cannot agree more. Interoperability is the future that is going to open up, finally, blockchain technology to the traditional old internet and will make Web3 just the web. Exactly like we didn't even know that Web 2 was a thing until someone told us there is going to be 3. We were all sure that this is the web. So
I love
couldn't
that.
agree more.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And a lot of really smart people solving for that problem. I think Kima can be a big winner in the interoperability space. Let's talk a little bit more about the token utility as well, right? Because without that, you can have a great narrative, great team, blah, blah, blah. But if there's no actual use or reason to hold the token, then it's not going to perform well over the long term. You mentioned, I believe, briefly that the messages being sent across your sort of messaging layer require a bit of Kima token to be sent. So can you please elaborate on that, and then perhaps any other utilities that are going to move the needle here?
Of course. So the Kima token story is very simple. In order to operate a validator node on the Kima network, where proof of stake network at the end of the day, you need to stake your tokens in order to run a validator. This is one. Second, every time that the transaction goes in the Kima network, a tiny Kima token is being automatically purchased in order to send the message. So someone automatically purchases the stamp for you, put it on the envelope, and sends it through the mail. So you don't even know that you're using Kima token, but the demand keeps on building up for the token the more dApps are connecting to the Kima network. We will always and forever have 210 million Kima tokens. We're not creating anymore. We cannot generate anymore. No other way to mint anymore from the network. So the more dApps are onboarding Kima, the more scarce the token becomes, the more need there is for the token. And the beauty is that transactions are not going to change their costs. The cost of the stamps is not going to change. It's just basically the fractions of the stamps that will be required. We can have a whole show discussing about this, but that's in general how it operates.
But those are two massive utilities, right? The way I look at it is it's not too different from a typical layer one in the sense of you have validator nodes, so you have the staking element, proof of stake. So big whales presumably buying tokens off the market, staking them, institutions perhaps doing the same. So a lot of utility coming from that side. And then you have almost the gas side. You're doing it in a slightly different way, but to send a message on the network, you need a little bit of Kima token, which key point is that bit is bought off the market. That's a unique difference, I think. So very cool. Very, very good stuff on the token utility side. Wanted to ask a couple more questions around the launch plan. When are you guys launching? Anything you reveal alpha-wise, exchanges, or anything like that? What's the launch plan? When's it happening? What can you reveal?
Okay, regarding the launch, we're supposed to launch our IDO and our token in June. Was supposed to happen now. We're not saying that we're not going to do it in June, but seems like we're going to delay it. We'll be probably waiting for better market conditions. One of the problems at the moment is that the big boys, we see that the volumes are going into them, and unfortunately to new launches and IDOs, we see that they're not doing that well at the moment. we can have a whole discussion about why I think that they're not doing that well. But until that is being fixed, we decided to currently delay the launch. There's only one chance for first impression and one chance to launch your token. You cannot launch a token twice. Then after building for so many years with so many efforts by all of the and everything that we put so far, we have decided to move it. We're not sure if it's going to be in finally not in June, and maybe maybe in September. But we will probably delay it. As for exchanges, we already signed with a few centralized exchanges. Very famous names. Most of you know these names. In terms of launchpads, as you know, incubated by ChainGPT. So also going to launch it on ChainGPT and also on Polkastarter. And there's another third option that we're going to reveal and going to launch on it also, being announced probably in the next few days. That's it. Hope that helps.
Well, as painful as it here as the word delay is to at least some investors, I really don't mind it myself. I agree that you only have one chance to launch, and you want to make sure the stars are aligned. That said, it's impossible to predict exactly. But you know, if you've been following this channel, you'll probably come to the conclusion that summer tends to be a little bit soft from all markets, right? Not just crypto, and certainly not just altcoins, but all markets. And then things tend to pick up in the fall. So we'll see if things play out that way this time. I think probably, but maybe we'll see that trend getting bucked. The Fed may be cutting interest rates sometime this summer. That was my prediction from yesterday's show, because they're not going to want to cut rates too close to the election, because that'll look too nakedly political. So they'll probably do it sometime this summer. And some data came out today, the economy's looking a little bit soft. So we'll see how things play out. I think for you guys, you want to be ready to launch. So yes, it's fine to delay, but be ready in case things do turn around quickly in an unexpected manner. Crypto's full of unexpected twists and turns. So you can't be lackadaisical just waiting. Oh, it's going to be September. Like, it could be July. This shit could take off in July or August, and it could just surprise everybody. So you got to be ready. In the meanwhile, obviously, continue to build, continue to do marketing, grow the community, onboard influencers. Get the most possible support behind you, and it'll do fine. So good work, good stuff. Keep it all up.
Thank you.
Nick, I don't know if you have any questions before we get into the fun stuff about, we have a couple of fun questions that we like to ask at the end.
No, we've kind of gone over the high level, kind of technical explanation of what's going on with Kima versus other current interoperable options like bridges, and why yours is better, smaller attack vector, ease of use, partnership collaboration possibility, where instead of competing with these networks, you're actually enhancing these networks. So that's great. As for the token, there's some early investors already on board, but for the people watching this video, it looks like there will be some launchpad updates, and you can get your opportunity to get your Kima tokens still in the public round before the TGE. And then if you're somebody who likes to see how launches go, make sure there's no hiccups, take less risk, of course, we'll follow up here on Crypto Paradise when the TGE actually happens, and how you can participate in Kima either as a speculator, a validator, or a user. So I guess, Ian, if you want to get into the fun questions, I'm sure it's going to have something to do with financial freedom and Crypto Paradise, and then we can wrap this up. And of course, make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And all of Kima's socials and whatnot will be below this video on YouTube. Will be in the tweet for Twitter and all the other social platforms. You'll be able to find out how to get involved with Kima.
Yeah, awesome. So we like to end this segment with two questions. The first question, you already sort of hinted at a little bit when you talked about you were on the streets. I want to hear that story. So the first question is, tell us about a time you've been in crypto, right, and you got absolutely wrecked, and then about a time you just did insanely well.
Oh, well, this is, as an angel investor like you guys, I'm sure like that you probably know what we've all been through, like even like what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, guys. We were all looking at our portfolios, which were basically, not only that they were probably what we had looked like what, 5-10% of what it is now, maybe, which was a 90% drop. And whoever bought it in, by the way, don't forget, did like 20 or 10x on these assets. If you were smart enough to buy back and you were not afraid and understanding that this technology is not going anywhere. So Yeah, I've been there like you guys, and it was scary, but I was a believer. I bought a lot in the deep for all of the things I believe in, all the things that I actually use, all the things that I know that is growing and building, and proved to do kind of well, or also was, of course, stuck, like most of the investors, even retail investors, were buying into, IDOs, we're not professional investors like us, angels, or VCs, saw their allocations now locked throughout the bear. Everybody thought that we're going to have a TGE 2, 3 months from now, 4 months from now.
Yep.
And suddenly it became 2.5 years. 2.5 years, 2 years, you're waiting for a launch. I was one of my projects, GT Protocol. I was one of their first dollars of Vlad and the team, and I was working, I'm their advisor since day one. No one would give us a dollar, in the bear market. It was hard as nails. And of course, they delayed their launch in 2 years. So you're talking about, a few dozens of thousands of dollars that they basically saw turning to ash. There was not even token. Who knew if they will even survive the bear? And suddenly, when we build the right momentum, brought them to ChainGPT, which is another portfolio company of mine, for an incubation, incubated them. The protocol blew up the market. They went out and I think they were at the top like 30 to 40x, of the price. So, I saw basically nothing. Worked for 2 years with the team to build and believed in what we're doing, there. And here it is. Now, this is one out of dozens of stories, that I can tell you and that I hear from others. I'm sure that you guys have dozens of your own stories. So if you believe in what you do, if you understand the technology, if you understand the digital assets ownership, if you understand that the decentralization of information is not going anywhere, then hold tight, be smart, buy the deep, and just wait for the markets to wake up. Look at the graphs, guys. Look, even the S&P 500. Look, since World War One, it's the same story. Same story all over again. People do not change. Remember, not a financial advice, anything I'm saying, but my theory is when everybody are running left, I'm running right. When everybody are running right, I'm running hard left. Exactly what I do.
All right. So the final question we always like to ask our guests is, what does financial freedom, what does crypto paradise mean to you?
Oh, wow. Well, I think that crypto is kind of paradise, right? Like crypto is the true essence of financial freedom, guys, because not only that it allows you to actually own and manage your assets, but it allows you to invest in every investment asset that is available on chain, which is completely crazy, guys. You can invest imagine it doesn't matter which country you're in, you can invest to any company, any project that you believe in. You can stake your funds in, I don't know, Japanese yen to generate yield with your USDT. You can stake your Ethereum to generate yield in Zimbabwe, and you can do basically whatever you want with your financial assets. So there's no more financial freedom than this financial freedom. Crypto is as good as it gets. Not only that it allows us to truly own our assets and do whatever we want with it, to invest it however we want, to buy with it whatever we want, and it doesn't matter where we are in the world, it also allows us the ability to take ours without even taking a USB disk on key, just with seed phrase, a tiny paper, your computer, and live anywhere on earth, to become a digital nomad in no time. It allows me now to work from whatever I want next to my family, work from another country, work with people from all over the world, having these amazing conversations with you, in other side of the globe, and all of us interact together. The ability to share wealth together, share successes together, be part of a success with people whom you've never met over this amazing, magical internet thing on a blockchain, right? And we all have this also trust between us, because there's a tiny, long, weird number starting with 0x that everybody can learn who I am and what I am and where I've been. Without even saying my name, I get my credibility in this industry. So, true essence of financial freedom doesn't get any better than this. Future of money, guys.
You heard it here. You're already living the crypto paradise just by watching this show, just by learning from Tomer and all the guests that come on here. I love that answer. I completely agree with you, by the way. Everything you said, just fantastic. Remember, guys, like, subscribe. Nothing on the channel is financial advice, but we will see you all on the beach. Peace.